found that British people tend to go back and forth at these barbs, and then they kind of set it aside and get the business done. Americans can hold a bit more of a grudge. If they take something personal, they get dug in. Could that be the reason that Wilder's not?
Yeah, it's not helping. I mean, that's sad, really. And what I was saying about Bob is Bob will say some mad things, right? I'm talking about Bob Arum. And you could slag Bob Arum off to the hills, but he would still make a deal with you that night about something else, you know? And that's one thing I actually admire, because I put myself in that bracket as well. I don't hold emotion and let emotion get in the way of doing the right deal for my fighter. And there is clearly a lot of unhappiness from their camp towards Team Joshua, and that includes me, mostly me, which shouldn't be that way. You can't come out and say something about Anthony Joshua without me firing something back, and about me. We're just not that type of people. I'm going to back my man to the hills because I believe in everything he stands for. I believe in all his decisions we make as a team. So when you're asking, is one of the reasons this fight's not getting made because of the bad blood between two? Absolutely. And that's something that I'm trying to tone down.
What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. I was letting you guys hear a little segment of an interview by Radio Raheem and Seconds Out. Shout outs to Radio Raheem. And he was interviewing, of course, Eddie Hearn. And Eddie Hearn was talking for one of the reasons that the super fight that everybody wants to see between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, one of the reasons why it's not happening is because of the bad blood. It's because of all the trash talk, and it's not the good type of trash talk. It's not the trash talk that's talked when a fight is made. It's the type of trash talk like Manny Pacquiao's on steroids kind of trash talk, and lawsuits, defamation of character kind of talk. It's not the type of talk that can make the fight happen. And he was stating that that's one of the reasons why the fight's not being made. But I think it's more on the side, he said no, it's actually Deontay Wilder's side, or the fight's not being made. However, to be fair, last year, if you guys can remember, Anthony Joshua stating that he was willing to freeze out Deontay Wilder if he kept up his shenanigans, right? Now, that was about a year ago. Okay, I don't remember when the date really was, but it was last year. And, that signaled a sign of unhappiness from Team Joshua. But since then, it's been all Deontay Wilder, and it really hasn't helped. So where Joshua had nothing to say, Eddie Hearn did. So whenever you heard Deontay Wilder call Joshua a coward and he's scared, he doesn't want to fight, he doesn't want to fight me, they didn't want it or whatnot, then you would hear Eddie Hearn lash back with his own insults. So that really stopped the fight, or the progress of this fight, and stopped really these two sides from really getting together. But on a personal level, Eddie Hearn was just saying, I'm not going to stop my fighter from getting the fight that's benefiting him by personal feelings for another promotional company. You know what I mean? And he used Bob Arum as an example. Like, hey, Bob Arum might blow me out of the water with insults, but at the end of the day, we will get a fight made on something else, because Bob Arum's a businessman. Bob Arum knows the difference between business and personal. And if you look at Bob for a minute, Bob is the kind of guy that he will say things, and he'll say whatever comes to his mind. He's 87. He's earned that right. He doesn't care. You know what I mean? He's like one of those old mobsters. He'll just, what I think you could, I think he should blow it out of his ass, But at the end of the day, he really wants to make a deal. It is nothing. People shouldn't take this personal. Like Wilder's camp took the Shirley Finkel insults, like, personally, because you heard Deontay bring it up. He was like, well, I can't stand him for that. I'm like, dude, it's just trash talk. You know what I mean? What does that have to do with you signing the dotted line of making a fight happen that benefits you? Or supposedly that's what you wanted or whatnot. If that's what he claims, and he still claims that to this day, right? That he wants to be undisputed in one face, one champion, one name, and all that good stuff. So that shouldn't stop you from making a fight like this to this magnitude. You know, Eddie Hearn, both camps have said what they feel about each other. That people should bring their feelings personally out of this and really get to the basis. And Eddie Hearn states that he's willing to tone those down. You know, these statements, just tone it down. The bad blood. You know, he has to tone down the insults. You know what I mean? Just because sooner or later you're gonna have to stop with all the negativity. You know, that's what's going to happen. And it happened before. We've seen it happen before. When Mayweather and Pacquiao, they traded insults, from convict to you can't read, to steroid head, Manny taking the Pac-Man pellets, meaning he was juicing, his head got big, a lot of these things. Then you created the Pac-Tars and the Flomos. It was terrible. And it lasted a very long time. Okay, so we don't want that to go down this road because it really has, and it hasn't got that bad yet because those guys were around a long time versus, Wilder was around a long time, but he really didn't get the recognition like he's getting now, versus Anthony Joshua was like the shooting star and he's trying to get everything. And they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. We can't let you from the UK get all this, all this smoke. You're not going to get it all that easy. Then you're not going to just throw us any type of money you think that we're worth. And that's what's going on in this situation. But I think Eddie's right. If he wants to get anything toned. And honestly, I've seen Eddie say a lot of good things about Deontay Wilder. Now, regardless of what how he meant, because Eddie Hearn he could slick cap at times when he says certain things. You know what I mean? Because you don't really know if he's just, kind of trying to be funny, or he's actually giving someone a compliment, you know what I mean, where the way his demeanor and personality is. But he's said some positive things about Deontay, you know what I mean? And, because I think Eddie understands at the end of the day, like, hey, if he could sign Deontay Wilder, which he's offered to sign Deontay Wilder, he would, because it's business. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a damn what Deontay said about him being the slave owner and all that. He doesn't care. As long as he signs that dotted line and see if he can make him some money. Which Deontay Wilder now is taking it so personal to the point where one of the reasons why this fight's not happening because they don't like those guys. Why do you think the Tyson Fury and Wilder fight got made? Because these guys liked each other. And then really, honestly, that fight got made because they were trying to show Eddie Hearn and Team Joshua that a fight with us can be made without any type of interruption. And we know that's false because that fight didn't get made in one night. Okay, so to compare the two negotiations, it wasn't all crimson and clover with Fury and Deontay. And then the second rematch showed us clearly what it was. You know what I mean? That they weren't, Frank Warren and Shelley Finkel was, got along so good. You know what I mean? That wasn't the case. They were just trying to show up Hearn to show them how they do business, and they're not unreasonable businessmen, and they are, and all this, and pointing the finger why that fight wasn't made. So the Wilder Fury fight was made by default anyway, guys. We have to remember that. Okay, we have to remember that. So what Eddie Hearn is saying makes a lot of sense. Let's just see if he's able to tone that down, because Deontay Wilder ain't gonna stop. He's not gonna stop talking his mind. That's one thing, or someone else's thoughts, okay, or his team's thoughts. He's not going to stop, so we'll see if that helps. So if Eddie's able to tone it down on his side, again, you haven't heard Anthony Joshua say anything negative about Deontay Wilder in a long time, and if he has, it hasn't been documented on video, because this video is a mother, right? But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Eddie's statements. Tell me if this will work. Can this be a step towards the super fight? Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.